Hey guys, we're here with Rob, and we're here at the Nike tour van stop at Riviera for 2016, and he's graciously given me a couple minutes to give you guys a little tour of the van.
Yeah, no problem at all, Brian. Let me actually should turn down the music before we get too far into it,
Right.
So I don't have to scream.
Right.
So basically, we like to refer to it as a rolling treehouse.
Right.
This is kind of our little hangout clubhouse for all of our Nike athletes. One of its main functions, obviously, is working on the golf clubs, which you see all the normal equipment that we do.
Right.
Putter loft and line, iron loft and line. Of course, this being the Nike van, green machine.
Right.
Really, we can do just about anything. I built, that set in the corner. I built for as a backup set for Tony Finau.
Right.
Exactly to his same specs, and anything they really need just to have the confidence to go out and make sure that they're going to play their best this week. If it's just a little loft and line change, if it's fresh grips because they don't feel quite right. Some guys will change grips when we go from the West Coast, where it's normally a little drier. When we get to Florida, if it's a little bit more humid down there, they might want to change grips.
Right.
Obviously, keeping track of everybody's specs is real important, so we just keep track of any of those changes there.
Right.
And of course, it also happens electronically. This being
an iPad.
The modern days.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody can come in. Hey man, I'm not driving it that good, or I want to try a couple other heads. There's all fairway woods in that drawer.
Right. And then Rob, what are you seeing guys for 2016 for the Nike staff playing the most in terms of driver, fairways? Or fairways, we're sticking with one model.
Yeah, the fairways we have one. The Vaporfly is the only model this year. It's actually been very, very successful.
Right.
We've added some adjustability there. It gives us back lie angle, which is something we didn't have at a consumer level.
Right.
With the Vapor products, we could obviously move them here in the van and adjust them wherever the tour player wanted. But I've been doing this for a lot of years, and one of the most asked questions outside of a tour player.
Right.
If a consumer or someone comes in, hey, can you bend my 3-wood?
Right.
It's such a often asked question.
Really?
And
Yeah.
And it's just something like a loft and line machine for irons like this.
Right.
It's not uncommon.
Right.
But you got to make molds, exact molds of each head to be able to properly bend a metal wood. It's just not something that you see in a lot of places.
Right.
And it is important. So now we've added that adjustability back in the Vaporfly line, and really almost all the guys have adopted it. It takes some time.
Right.
Not everybody is. They don't want to take away their baby.
Right. Of course.
They've got a 3-wood that they really like, or a 5-wood that they really like.
Right.
It takes some time before
they make that change.
The opportunity is right, and the course conditions are right, and their swing is right, and there's a lot of factors in somebody changing. And then some days, you're like, oh no, this is perfect. Boom, the first one you build goes right in. So you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it is really all about confidence. It's about these players walking out on that tee and knowing that they're going to be able to hit any shot and every shot that they'll need to hit here at Riviera or wherever we are.
Right. And then we're seeing a lot more guys with the Pro, the Fly, the Flex this year.
It's pretty evenly split.
That's good. That's cool.
This year's Flex has probably come on a little bit stronger.
Right.
Flex has probably replaced a few of the Pros.
Right. Oh, no kidding.
A few guys that would be using Pro. Flex is a little bit smaller head. It's not, it's a very forgiving golf club.
Right.
Especially compared to last year's Flex. So that's the evolution of Flex is as we've learned more and more about resin.
Right.
Last year's Flex was a little smaller. It certainly changed spin rate, using the flight pod.
Right.
But we've been able to expand the size this year, add even a little bit more forgiveness. It has a very quiet, solid sound.
Right.
It's not a high-pitched metal wood
kind of sound.
Type of sound.
Right.
Which a lot of the guys like.
Right.
And it has a very, very traditional classic pear shape.
Right.
Which a lot of the guys like.
Gotcha.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
Because, I'm a decent player.
Right.
And I use a fly.
Right.
Because I'm not a tour player. I don't hit it dead smack in the center every time.
Right.
But the Flex is probably, I bet you the Flex is in more use this year because it's much better than last year's Flex. It's a pretty good technology leap from last year's Flex to this year's Flex.
Yeah. I'm excited to put.
They're pretty even. I mean, you've got guys like Finau and Koepka both use a fly.
Right.
Which is the largest, most forgiving one.
Right. So that's Silverhead.
That's
the Silver Face. Yes. Sorry, Silver Face. Right.
Guys like Patrick Rogers or Jamie Lovemark, Rory would be using the Pro.
Right.
And Patrick and Jamie have both experimented with the Flex, and hey, the answer is a Flex guy. It's pretty new,
right?
Compared to even a one with the Flex on the web last year,
right?
But even this year's model is different, so,
right?
You know, as I said, sometimes it's anything, even if it's better,
right? Yeah, guys will wait out, right?
It doesn't always go right in,
right?
Because it takes a little time for these guys to get used to it.
And then irons this year, are we seeing?
The only one that we have this year, the new iron this year, is the Fly line of products, Fly and Fly Pro.
Right.
Fly is, you know, a very big, very thick top line, very forgiving, high moment of inertia club.
Right.
Very, very strong lofted.
Right.
The Fly Pro is a little bit of a cross between Pro Combo style and the Fly.
Right.
Where we get a lot on tour, a lot of guys are using the long iron at that.
Right.
Paul Casey has 2 of them in. Lovemark has 1. I think Lovemark has 1. Haven't seen his bag this week. There's 2 there for Tony. Epka has a couple of those. Answer has a couple of those. It's basically, you know, a very, very forgiving, easy to hit long iron, which for tour guys, one of the most important places and where we spend most of our time is the gap between whatever their longest iron is and whatever their shortest wood is.
Gotcha.
So if it's a hybrid or if it's an iron or it's a, you know, these guys hit crazy distances. We have guys who carry their 3-iron 245, 250 yards.
Right.
And then if they do that, I'm like, okay, well now what do I do between there and my 5-iron?
Right.
Or they carry, you know, they have 3 wedges.
Right.
So they, you know, only have room for 1 wood. Or,
right.
Hey, I hit my 5 wood 270 yards.
Right. Right.
So, you know, what do you do next?
Exactly.
And how do you bridge the gap with only 14 clubs to work
with?
We spend a lot of time there because that's an important part of the bag. You know, a tight, older school golf course like this, guys will be hitting irons and hybrids and 3-woods and fairways off of a lot of tees because it's very tight.
Right.
Not a lot of room to drive the ball.
Right.
And for some of the longer guys, when they do hit it, their distance, the fairways just get super tight. There are bunkers there.
Right. And then when guys put in their orders, I mean, you guys carry all shafts, grips, and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
the other side of it is, okay, there's shaft vendors out here just like me, manufacturers. They have reps just like I am.
Right.
So it is good for them.
Right.
If somebody comes in and says, "Man, Rob, I'm struggling with my driver. Can I try 3 or 4 shafts?"
Right.
Well, if I've got their latest and greatest right here in front of my knees,
right. Why not?
It's probably going to go right. If I've got to go search, even if I, you know, oh man, this shaft would be great. If I have to go search a half an hour for it, I might not have that much time.
Right.
So all the guys, and that makes it easier on us too.
Right.
Right. So it's a little one hand washing the other. So Fujikura, Graphite Design, one above there is our friends at Mitsubishi. Matrix.
Golfer's Paradise, what you're showing me right now, Rob.
Yeah, and we're lucky.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of people think there's stuff in the tour van that you can't get.
Right.
What it usually is we just have it first.
Right.
You know, and sometimes there are prototypes.
Right.
But basically that shaft or that club head or whatever it is that exists in prototype form will probably make it into production form sooner or later. It's just we have it sooner.
Right.
Whether it's a shaft that one of the other manufacturers makes, whether it's a head that we might be testing out.
Right.
Eventually, it does hit retail.
Gotcha.
Maybe we get it first.
Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions I have.
All right.
Very
good to have you today, man. I'm glad you got a chance to hang out.
Definitely. So this is Rob from Nike. We're excited for 2016 Nike Golf. Later.
See ya.